Hello and welcome to the 2023 game pick season. Week 1, boys.
We made it.
Jinx, you owe me a soda. Um, you said the Bears were going to trade away the draft pick. They did.
Very happy. Very happy. We got a haul. DJ Moore looks amazing. It's going to be a good year for the Bears, I think. Justin Fields stinks. I'm going to be really sad. I don't think he's going to, though. I think he's going to rush for close to 1,000 yards and pass for close to 3.
Okay. Joey?
Hey, guys.
Tough but cool offseason.
Ultimate, yeah, really weird offseason. Obviously, we don't really – Aaron Rodgers is gone. Everybody knows that by now. Chris is very happy because, the owner has finally left the building. He's gone. It was really sad to go through, but we all kind of knew it was happening before the news officially broke. But I'm excited to see what Jordan Love can do. He's been the guy for 4 years. I mean, he's been waiting for 4 years behind Aaron Rodgers. I think that he has a lot of potential and that he could actually win us some games and hopefully get us to the playoffs.
Solid. And then we come to the Miami Dolphins, who, I don't know, trialing offseason, to say the least. Everything that led into the season with Tua and his concussions. And then on top of that, we have problems with Jalen Ramsey, who we just traded for. He goes pretty much right before the first preseason game, tears his meniscus. So that's pretty unfortunate. And, it was something that I was really looking forward to. And last but not least, the contract dispute with Christian Wilkins. We're still waiting to get an extension done. And the Dolphins are out here extending everyone except for Christian Wilkins, which is so freaking annoying as a fan. But Wilkins said it himself. He's not going to sit out. He's not going to hold out during the season, any of that. He's going to go play, and he's going to be a leader like he is. And hopefully he earns a big bag. But I don't see where the money's going to come from because the Dolphins are just cashing out right now. And
everybody's getting paid.
Except for the guy who's asking to get paid. Everyone's like, oh, let's extend Blake Ferguson. I love you, Blake, but Jesus. Let's get it
the
together.
Long snapper?
Yes. Yes. Oh, man. But, to say the least, the NFL offseason was fun. What was your biggest surprise from the draft? I know yours was probably the Bears. That was ahead of time, but Bears trading away, was that probably one of them?
I was hoping it was going to happen because there was really not much point of us keeping it, in my opinion. And we got a pretty good haul back. So overall, I was pretty happy with it. I don't think there was too many big surprises with the draft. I think it kind of went how we all thought. What do you think, Joey?
Well, as Austin knows, I correctly predicted the Green Bay Packers first round pick.
You did.
Out of spite. We might be able to pull it up. Maybe not. But the Milwaukee Bucks had just lost to the Miami Heat in the playoffs. And then I had said that I guarantee you the Packers will not pick a wide receiver and they will go Lucas Van Ness. And that's exactly what they did. Pretty disappointed from the pick, but I think he's going to be good overall. I mean, I feel like every Packer fan is disappointed when we don't get a wide receiver. But, yeah, it was pretty cool predicting the pick, but not the one I wanted.
Yeah, that situation was hilarious. I mean, first of all, the Heat doing that was wild, but let's stick to football.
Yeah.
That you picking that pick, you saying that pick, 2 weeks in advance, I was like, yeah, this guy's
It was just going to be pile on top of pile of just utter complete sadness for the Cheesehead fans. Oh, and Aaron Rodgers got traded that week, too.
All right, and then what are you guys most excited for going into this season, aside from your teams? Because I think we all are having our own type of levels of excitement. What is your most exciting part of this upcoming season?
Man, I'm just really excited to see the AFC go to work, man, because there's
It's a tough conference.
There's so much talk about, every individual team in the AFC. I just want to see it just happen already. That might just be the kid inside of me getting really excited about NFL coming back, but man, Travis Kelce now out with potentially out. We don't know as of right now with a knee injury. A lot of things are coming up within a lot of people's way. Maybe some underdogs are going to sneak up in the AFC. There might be another Bengals scenario. I'm just excited to see that AFC go to work.
Yeah, I think it's overall going to be a tough conference, and I think very competitive. I think your guys' division is up for grabs, the NFC North.
Hell
I think the top team I would say is the Minnesota Vikings, but aside from that, I don't really give it to anyone. Like I think whoever is gonna go get it is gonna get it, and I mean it's literally a toss up for me, in my opinion.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I'm excited to see how that division plays out, especially because my team's in it.
Yeah.
So, and I think we have a chance to win. To be honest, I think every team has a chance to win that division.
I agree.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see how the Dallas Cowboy quarterback situation plays out.
I think they're just fine.
I wonder, does Trey Lance step in for Dak? I mean, we haven't seen him healthy for a full season in a while, and you know how Cowboy fans are very impatient. So, could we possibly see a Trey Lance start, or maybe does he come in like a wildcat situation, kind of like maybe what they did with Tebow when they couldn't figure out how to use him?
Does he play the role of Taysom Hill in that offense?
Better example, but yeah.
I would say to a degree yes, but I don't think he's gonna be out there receiving passes and like making blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pure gimmick, and it's like a little lateral and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But aside from that, I don't think so. One thing we got to get to is the standings from last year. We're gonna just roughly go over them. Steve came out on top, 188 correct picks,
Legend.
96 wrong picks, but hey. The next one would be 179, 105, Eddie. Myself, 176, 108. Matt right behind, 173, 111. And then we got good old Christopher. Hello. He got it 169, 115.
Hey-o.
And Joey was not far off. He
Just
had
right behind.
Yep, 165, 119. And then we had Mark, 162, 122. And we also had DJ in dead last.
Jeez.
156, 128. We also have Thomas, but I didn't count his just because he joined midseason, and then he was like, I already have so many losses against me. I'm not going to continue it. But he's going to be on it this year. And that's another thing. I want to openly invite anyone who's watching this to feel free to join the league and put in your picks. And well, if you make a top week, or if you have, if you make it on top of the leaderboards, like we'll definitely include you guys in the show in some capacity. So that's something I really want to change up this year, is make it more inclusive to the viewers. So if you're interested, please contact me and I will invite you to the game picks. Now, with all that being said, it's time to get into the picks. Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Kicking
it's
off
here.
the NFL season, the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Detroit Lions. And man, it is a tough situation right now in Kansas City. No certainty of like wide receivers who are going to step up. And then you have Travis Kelce go down with a potential big injury. We're not certain on the severity of the injury just yet. And we're a day away from kickoff, which is pretty concerning if I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. The uncertainty of the receiving core is not great. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster. They have a young guy in Sky Moore who's really kind of unproven. And then on top of that, Justin Ross, who is a rookie from last year, he's coming along. He didn't really play much last year, so that's something that is another unknown. And then on top of that, they do have Marquez Valdez-Scantling returning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like one of the only big returning ones. McCall Hardman left to the
Jets.
New York Jets. And anyone want to...
Green Bay East.
Yeah.
Huh?
Green Bay East.
Anyone want to take the floor on the Detroit Lions and advocate a case for them?
Yeah, let's go, Chris.
I like this.
Hey.
It's a weird team. I like the Detroit Lions team as it is now, but like just look at the running back position. That was one of their strong suits last year. Now 3 new guys are in that role.
They will have a stud of a rookie, though, in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs seems pretty good. They have David Montgomery, who was pretty sad to leave. Running backs tend to last a long time in Chicago, so when they're good, they're really good, and we use them a lot, so we're going to miss him, but he's on the Detroit Lions now, so we'll get to see him twice a year. But anyways, this is a young team. It's an exciting team, I think, too. I'm big on Amon-Ra. Jameis Williams is suspended. Defense is a little shaky. And the one guy that possibly could start playing by the end of the year you might see as well as a Hendon Hooker sighting, potentially. I think that's one of the more interesting draft picks.
Yeah. Possibly.
Possibly. I mean, before he got hurt, he was a Heisman
Oh, yeah,
candidate.
for sure.
He looked really good. You still got to go with the Chiefs at home, even without Kelsey. You can't bet against the Chiefs at home. Not now. Maybe week 1 is when to do it, but I don't think so. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs at home. And Kelsey's only missed 3 games in his career, so he'll be back.
Joey?
I mean, with all due respect to the Detroit Lions, they did knock us out of playoff contention or making the playoffs last year. They are a very good young football team, and hell, they might even win the NFC North. But they are not beating the Kansas City Chiefs to open up the season. They are raising a damn banner that says Super Bowl champions. And you think that Travis Kelce being out is going to stop Patrick Mahomes from beating the Detroit Lions? You're nuts. I'm going Kansas City all day. They might even win by 2 touchdowns.
And this is where I throw a wrench in things.
Oh, God.
I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
Ah!
Oh, man.
You're nuts.
Yeah, I think for right now, no Travis Kelce, give me Detroit Lions. If Travis Kelce plays, that is a huge determining factor for myself. I think if he does play, then I will more than likely flip it over to the Kansas City Chiefs. But as it stands right now, I just find it tough. I think this Detroit Lions team is an interesting one. And if their defense can contain Patrick Mahomes, there is a chance. But otherwise, no shot. Literally all of you guys went with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like everyone who already had picked went with the Kansas City Chiefs. I just want to throw a wrench in there, even on the first one, to make it a little bit interesting. But let's keep it moving. We have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Washington Commanders. And guys, we're not going to spend long on this game.
Match is,
let's
terrible.
just address the elephant in the room. The Arizona Cardinals are tanking for Caleb Williams, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I already seen your guys' pick, so I'm going to just fill it out here. We're all going with the Washington Commanders. Any comments on either team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Arizona, you mentioned that they're tanking for Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams' dad also said that he might not go into the draft considering who has the number 1 pick. If it's not the best
That's
scenario,
an interesting take, yeah.
he might not go. So maybe tanking isn't the best option for them right now.
What if he pulls like an Eli?
Yeah,
That's very true.
That's why he made that statement.
He has a lot of options, but the Arizona Cardinals don't. And that's the problem here. Kyler Murray's hurt. Their backup quarterbacks suck. And they're in a position where they're not going to win a lot of football games. They'll be lucky to win 4 games this year. And obviously Washington's going to win this game, in my opinion. And Arizona is just garbage, man. It's sad, but they can tank all they want, and they still might not even get Caleb Williams.
That's going to be the crazy thing. Another thing I want to add, I've been saying this pretty much all offseason, is I don't think Kyler Murray is going to play another down for the Arizona Cardinals.
I can see that.
Like, the uncertainty of his return is already there, and the fact of, like, they scrapped this team. Like, the fact that you are in a position that, this is a very competitive NFC West division that they're in, and they get rid of their backup QB and the backup to that QB. And obviously, right now, Colt McCoy would have been the starter. They're going with Joshua Dobbs. I don't think he's horrible, but I don't think he's going to do great either. And Chris is terrified of him. Chris is terrified of Joshua Dobbs. I don't know if you know that.
Not a fan.
Yeah. He has no eyebrows.
Yeah.
Scares me.
On the other side of the field, we have the Washington Commanders with Sam Howell. I think he's going to be interesting to watch, and I think he has a potential to, build around this Washington Commanders team that is very young and has a lot of potential if things go their way. But that's only if things go their way.
I have one more quick thing to add.
Go ahead.
The Commanders are a team, they have so many offensive weapons, and their defense is not too shabby. We could be talking about them in the same light as we did the New York Jets last year, how they're one quarterback away from just being that team.
And Sam Howell, like, from what I've seen in preseason, I know it's preseason, he has the potential. It's there, and me watching it, I became a fan of his. And I think the surrounding cast is there to just make him explode and be great. Yep. So I think there's a lot of potential.
He's in a great position.
Mm-hmm. Christopher?
I mean, I agree pretty much for what you guys said. Yeah, this is an easy game. Commanders at home. Return of Chase Young, hopefully. Not official yet, but he should play.
I think he should play.
He should play. He's one of my favorite players to watch. I think he's a monster. And, yeah, the Commanders have been trying to get a quarterback, but no luck. So even if they get somebody who they think is good, they're still going to suck. So
you want to take us into the next one?
Another easy game for me, I think. Rookie quarterback going on the road for his first game against.
Division rival?
Yeah, it's a division rival. I mean, I think both of these teams are going to be kind of bad. I'm excited to see how Bijan Robinson looks. Desmond Ridder, I don't think he's that guy. I'm still going to go with the Falcons at home, regardless. Just Carolina gave up so much just to get that number 1 overall pick. And they got their guy, so they think. But I don't know. First start for him, I'm not confident.
Yeah. All right. Well, for the audio listeners, since Chris didn't really direct you guys into the game, it's the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. It's all good. Anyone with football knowledge will know. But for those who weren't aware, it's the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. This one's a tough one for me to pick. I do like Bryce Young and what he could bring to the table to this Carolina Panthers team. I think the surrounding cast isn't great, but I think they have potential to, if he does well, if some of the younger guys step up, they have good potential. But they just got rid of DJ Moore for this number 1 overall pick. So that is not a great building block to give away. But you are trading for a top flight QB, and I think Atlanta overall has the better surrounding cast at this moment. But in the next matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers would be able to even up the series with them on the season.
It's tough for me, this one. I really like what the Panthers have done so far through camp. I like Adam Thielen. DJ Chark's over there. Bryce Young is...
Andy Dalton.
I don't know how to feel about him, you know what I mean, with the height thing. So I'm going with Atlanta. You know, I feel like they have a lot more experience on both sides of the ball. I'm really excited to see Bijan Robinson play. And I think that fantasy managers will be excited to see his performance in this game.
Who are you going with again? My bad.
I'm going with Atlanta.
Okay. Give me Atlanta.
Give me the Falcons, baby. Going with Dion's alma mater.
All right, who we got for this next game, Joey?
All right. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow tweaked his ankle.
Yeah, it was Achilles, ankles. It was a lower leg injury.
Tweaked his lower leg back in July, and now he's practicing. You know, should be playing week 1. Shouldn't be any hiccups as far as we're concerned. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I like Skyline Chili. It's a well-known fact on the show. Skyline Chili. Food always takes the cake for me. Like, if I'm not really sure on the matchup, I'll just go with the food. But no, Cincinnati clearly is gonna win this game. Cleveland, we don't really know what we're seeing from Deshaun Watson. Nick Chubb, I love. Picked him first round in a lot of fantasy leagues this year. Don't hate on the pick. But yeah, I think Cincinnati wins this game.
Chris?
I'm going to say the same. I think Burrow's going to play. If he doesn't play, I might consider changing the pick. But he should play.
He'll play.
He said it today. He's expecting to play. So I'm expecting him to play. And yeah, I like Skyline Chili too. And whoever goes who goes to Cleveland on vacation?
Hey, they were closed today. Skyline Chili. Almost went.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I thought you were there. Well, this one's tough for me. If Joe Burrow does not play, I will go with the Cleveland Browns. But he returned to practice recently within this past week. But there's no certainty on whether or not he will be starting. If he does start, I will easily change this back to the Bengals. But for the time being, I think this Cleveland Browns team is going to be one that is going to be surprising, especially in the AFC North, where it's like the NFC North that is pretty much up for grabs. The Bengals and Ravens, I would put as the top 2 teams. The contending teams obviously would be the Steelers and Browns, and I think they're all kind of somewhat at an even level, some higher than others, but I feel like especially in these divisional matchups, anyone can get this type of win. Especially early on in the season, you'll come out and surprise people, and that will be a very deciding factor. But let's move on to another AFC North team. We have the Houston Texans facing the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore just re-signed Lamar Jackson to a massive extension. Did they make him
that was
the
big
highest
time
paid quarterback?
I believe he was, but then I think it got beat not too long after.
Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 more.
The only
QB
people that can
extensions.
keep up with all this money is these guys accountants and they're agents.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Trust me, they're watching all that money.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Herbert passed him.
Okay.
Not
It was
That's
like
right.
within 2 weeks after at the least. But I'm gonna make it short and simple. I'm going with the Ravens. I do think Houston has good potential with CJ Stroud at the helm. But I think their team is a little too young to put in at to topple a team like the Baltimore Ravens, but we never know. I was high on Houston last year, and they completely let me down. They totally tanked. And I don't blame them. I mean, they had the second overall pick, and then they traded with the Arizona Cardinals for the number 3 pick and ended up taking Will Anderson. So they have a very young core right now, and I think they have a lot of potential to just explode, but I wouldn't put it on week 1 right now.
I'm going to go with Baltimore as well. There's a lot of cues on that Houston defense right now, a lot of questionable players. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, Stroud's a rookie, but I'm not that high on Baltimore this year. I really don't think they've done anything to help Lamar out. Sure, they added Odell Beckham to sell some jerseys. Great. But is he going to be a number 1, a number 2? Probably not anymore. He'd be a really good number 3. And what, are you relying on Zay Flowers to be that guy?
Zay Flowers is going to be that dude.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. Not that high on Baltimore this year. Not
Listen
that high. Go ahead.
Well, this is going to be the first one of the season. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me talk to you real quick. All right. Shout out to the boy LA Knight. That dude's a legend. All right. With everybody saying Zay, Flowers, rocks, that dude's going to be insane this year. He's going to be one of the best receivers in fantasy. He might even win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm very high on the Baltimore Ravens this year. I'm very high on Zay Flowers. And listen to me, Odell Beckham Jr. is still a good cat, man. Mm-hmm. This guy can work the field. He can. Let me tell you something. Odell Beckham Jr. can still perform, and he would have won Super Bowl MVP if he didn't tear his ACL.
That is true.
I know he's coming off of it's been a while.
He's been playing over a year. He's old.
It's besides the point.
And he had an ACL tear.
You never count out a dude of that caliber, and especially with a guy like Lamar throwing the ball. I'm high on the Ravens.
What caliber? He hasn't been a top 10 wide receiver in years, dude.
But he was at one point.
Like 5 years ago, yeah.
Okay, so if Julio Jones were to go to a team with a great quarterback.
No, he's old. He's done. That's why he's not playing anymore.
To debunk what you just said, Julio Jones went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. Given he dealt with injuries, but still, I get both sides. And I feel like the biggest knock on Lamar Jackson is he's never had a great supporting cast, and I think this is the best supporting cast he's had in a while.
Agreed.
So that's why I think there's a lot of optimism around Lamar Jackson and that Baltimore Ravens offense. The defense is always going to be solid. That's literally the Baltimore way. There's a couple other teams in the NFL that are built similar in that sense, that they're always going to have a good defense. It's just a matter of the offense if they can kick it up a notch. But you guys solid on this game? We're all going Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think.
Well, this is gonna be a thing throughout the season, though. We'll see if Baltimore can hang up, though, because I think that they're gonna go.
It's not like
far.
I want them to be bad.
I mean,
I like Lamar Jackson. Shout out Pompano, bro. You know.
Shout out Pompano.
My first home down
I'm not
there.
saying that you don't think that they're gonna do good, but I'm just saying that
division's
this
tough.
might be a little bit of a hot take on both ends.
What's good? Let me ask you that.
I'm excited to see how it
What's
results.
good? 10-6, and they finish third in the division.
I think that they go.
Or 10-7 now. My bad.
I'd have to look at their schedule, but I would say 10-6 is nice if they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs as a wild card team, I see that as a success.
Like goal 10-6, make playoffs, or 10-7.
You get double digit wins and you make the playoffs. That's great.
And then on top, for me personally, that's fine and dandy, but also do something in the playoffs, get a win. The Ravens they've made the playoff a bunch of times. They had last year they had a collapse against the Cincinnati Bengals, which was very unfortunate. Given you didn't have all your best guys out there, I understand, but close game ends up having key mistakes is be very pivotal in terms of whether or not you advance to the next round. All right, let's keep it moving. We got an AFC South divisional matchup. And I'll let Chris tee us off with this one.
Here we go.
Oof, I'm excited about this team. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Indianapolis to play the Colts. I'm just make it easy. Take the Jags. Colts are going to be bad this year, I think. Really bad. You got your best player is sitting out, and I'm just so high on all of these Jacksonville Jaguar players, especially for fantasy. Lawrence, Etienne, Ridley, even Kirk. If you get him as like a third wide
People
receiver,
are sleeping on Kirk. I don't know why.
he was pretty good, and they paid him like a number one from
yeah,
Arizona when they got him from
He
Arizona.
screwed the market.
Yeah, he
That
did
is
screw up the
true.
market.
Plus, they paid Evan Ingram finally, and I think he's a very quality tight end.
You forgot to mention Calvin Ridley, who's gonna be
Calvin Ridley's
massive factor.
Shout out to Japer.
Yeah. He's gonna be Calvin Ridley's gonna be huge. I think on top of that, we just have just like a great young offense, and then on top of that, a defense that is very complimentary. I wouldn't say they're a good defense, but I wouldn't say they're a bad one either. I would put them kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of defense. They can first force turnovers, and they can just like get sacks. They can get to the quarterback, which is all you really want from a defense, as long as your offense is putting up points, which this young Jacksonville Jaguars offense will be doing a lot this season. So I'm going over to Duval County and picking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You got the better Josh Allen on the defense side over there.
Listen to me. I drafted Trevor Lawrence in a lot of my fantasy drafts. And you want to know the sole reason why? Food. Waffle House order after the freaking game. Incredible. I loved it. Love the Jags ever since then. Going with the Jags, man. I'm really high on them.
What's the order?
You got the Texas bacon cheesesteak melt with a hash brown with pecans on it. I'm Joey No Nuts, allergic to nuts, not what you might think. But I always go plain waffle, Texas bacon cheesesteak melt with the hash browns. Love you, Trevor.
Oh, gosh.
Let's go get it this year.
Solid. Yeah, and like you guys alluded to, the Indianapolis Colts still have Jonathan Taylor essentially holding out. They've listed him on the PUP list, which makes him inactive for the first 4 weeks of the season, and then they go from there. They can't put him to IR because it's not really confirmed whether or not he's actually injured. They just kind of listed him as like physically unable to perform, but that's neither here or there. He is the man asking for a trade. One of his preferred destinations is the Miami Dolphins. I'm a little upset that like it didn't happen before the final cuts happened, but it's neither here or there. Let's keep it moving, and we have this San Francisco 49ers going to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, and this one is generally a tough one for me to pick. I generally know who I want. My heart is telling me to go for the 49ers, which I'm doing it as a pick, but this Pittsburgh Steelers team I think is going to surprise a lot of people, depending on the development of Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett can be a solid quarterback, which towards the end of the year last year he showed that he has the ability to do so, and he willed this Pittsburgh Steelers team to a positive record on the season, which was in jeopardy for Tomlin's first time in his career, so that was pretty interesting to see whether or not it would go through. But this 49ers team, I mean, they have a couple questions. They had a big trade. They traded away Trey Lance in the offseason to the Dallas Cowboys recently, cementing Brock Purdy as QB1. They signed Sam Darnold in the offseason, so he's QB number 2 right now. But this has always been the knock on the 49ers. They've always had a great team, great weapons, great defense. The quarterback has always been the question mark. And I'm not saying that the quarterbacks are bad. It's just they've been inconsistent. They've been injury-riddled. They've kind of been listed off as system quarterbacks. And do any of you guys think that's the case for them?
I think they are one quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, and I think they have been for a while. I mean, that team is stacked from top to bottom. And this is another team where you're like, man, by the end of the year, is the same quarterback that starts week 1 going to be starting week 16, 17, playoffs, etc.? Maybe not, because a lot of people around San Francisco like Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. They also like Brock Purdy, don't get me wrong. Somebody I don't like, Kenny Pickett. Not sold on
Really?
him. Not a fan. I love the story. I love the Pitt story and how, they were right by the locker rooms.
They share the same practice room.
Same practice facility. He's a hometown guy.
The whole deal.
But the dude threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Let's be real.
All right.
And, yeah, he was a rookie. But, come on. He has great wide receivers, a solid defense. He should have performed better. He was one of the worst quarterbacks, I think, in the league last year. Could he bounce back? Sure. But am I going to assume he will week 1 against a really good 49er team? No.
May 2023, Chris Wright. I go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I go to Pittsburgh for the first time. I walk around the city. I go to Primanti Brothers. I have the sandwich. Shout out to the food again.
Overrated.
I love it. You know, the city, the environment is great. Shout out to my boy Primo. Everything is fantastic. I'm talking to the people, the fans, the Pittsburgh fans are fantastic. I'm in there with my Brewer jersey. They're Pirates fans. They don't care, but that's besides the point. I was talking to people about the Pittsburgh Steelers and how they felt about Kenny Pickett. They love this guy. I mean, why don't they? He's from Pitt. He went to Pennsylvania. You know, I mean, he's the hometown guy. Mm-hmm. But my friend Jacques, the reason why I was there, they were getting married. He always said that the Pittsburgh Steelers pick with their heart instead of their mind with Kenny Pickett, and I completely agree. I'm not sold on him, and I think that he needs a little bit more time. I'm going with the 49ers with this one, and the preseason is a little bit of a shaky subject, but he did really well in it. But I think ultimately the 49ers have better talent. They just paid Nick Bosa today.
That was huge.
Yep.
So I think they're going to come out swinging.
The highest paid defensive player of all time.
Yep.
And I think I saw a stat too that said the Bosa brothers they're guaranteed the most money as far as defensive players in the league.
Insane.
Which shout out to the family, bro. That's awesome. They're making $500 million between the two of them, probably.
Yeah, they're homegrown South Florida talent. So
are they from South Florida?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Bosa family is resided here. I don't know if but I'm pretty sure they all live on the West Coast now since the Chargers.
Didn't their dad play for the Dolphins or something?
Our uncle. You're going with the 49ers?
Yeah, of course.
You made it seem like it, but I wasn't sold. Let's go over to this next game. We have probably one of the last 1 o'clock games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Tampa, interesting situation. No more Tom Brady, which is a huge deal for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Would they have to replace him? Well, it's between Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. Currently, Baker is the starting man. But would you guys not be surprised if Baker gets replaced at some point this season by Kyle Trask?
Well, you know how I feel about Baker.
I already know.
I'm a Baker hater. But I think Kyle Trask is much worse. So, and I didn't know why Tampa drafted him because I was looking for them to take a Tom Brady replacement later in the draft. And this Trask has had a torn up knee for 3-4 years now. Like, when's the last time we've seen him on the field? So, not a fan. And if we're picking with our hearts like Joey's been doing, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium alone has scarred me for life. Thanks to Joey and Austin and some of our other friends. So
we almost fell off the roof of that place, ain't it? Yeah.
So I'm going with the Vikings at home. I don't want to see a divisional team start off with a win, but I think they will.
All right, Joey.
By the way, haven't been picking with my heart. Just been sharing some reasons why I would pick some teams, but picking against them. Thank you very much, Chris.
I think Joey's more so picking with his stomach.
With his stomach.
His heart.
Exactly.
Guess what? The key to his heart. Okay.
And evidently enough, it's probably a lot bigger than my heart. But anyway, Minnesota Vikings can't stand. I'm going with them. Baker Mayfield, love the guy. I don't know how to feel about it. Minnesota's the better team. I don't think everybody's saying that they're going to fall off. I don't think that that's going to be the case because they lost Dalvin Cook. Whatever. I'm going with Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it's a clean sweep across the board here. I'm going with Minnesota as well. But I'm very interested to see what happens with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Mike Evans wants an extension, and the supporting cast around Baker is solid enough that he could do well. But it's very similar to the situation that he was recently in Cleveland, except he doesn't have one of the best running backs in the NFL, Nick Chubb. So
very true.
It's eerily similar that he has great wide receivers there and a good defense to back him up. So I want to go with Vikings and I'm gonna stick with them, but I'm gonna be interested in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team down the stretch of the season. I think they have a great chance on being successful, especially in the NFC South where that's another division that's wide open. You have a rookie quarterback. You have a second-year quarterback. You have a questionable quarterback on one team, and you have a questionable quarterback on the other. So you do the math. I think it's a very open division. Chris, do it for our boy. What's this next game?
For two of our boys, we got the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. Shout out to our boy Bryce, who's a Titans fan. Just got married.
Yeah, congratulations, Bryce.
We're all very happy for you. Look beautiful. And then we all know, it's well documented, Mr. Gamble.
Mr. Gamble.
DJ.
Is a Saints fan. And man, I know I've talked a lot about quarterbacks, but let me talk about these two teams real quick and their quarterbacks because it is a weird situation. You got Ryan Tannehill, who's on his way out, in my opinion, with Malik Willis, who we're not really sure about, and then Will Levis, who they just picked, who just got corrective eye surgery. I don't know if I want my quarterback like messing with the eyes.
He also eats bananas unpeeled
and puts mayo in his coffee. Gross.
Which I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee enjoyer, but sounds disgusting.
It's gross, and that's enough for me to not want to take them. And then the quarterback situation in for the Saints is kind of weird too. You got Derek Carr, who's with a new squad, trying to prove himself that he's an actual top tier quarterback. Got Jameis Winston, who's trying to make his way back. Then you got Taysom Hill, like you said earlier, who's a gadget player. And then they drafted a guy from Fresno State who's on the juice and suspended for the year. So lots going on in these quarterback rooms.
He liking the juice, huh?
He's on the juice.
He liking the juice.
He liking the juice. But,
he liking the juice.
I'm going to take the Saints at home. Tough place to win there in New Orleans.
He liking the juice. Anyway, all I gotta say is that guy Will Levis sucks. And if you put mayonnaise in your coffee, you're disgusting. I just gotta tell you right now, you're just nasty, and you're the scum of the earth. I'm going with the Saints, not because Will Levis is nasty, just because I think that they're like what a lot of you guys alluded to. They're a great football team. They have a lot of potential. Derek Carr needs to prove himself. What the hell happened to Mike Thomas? Yeah.
He's poised
They're
to have
both
a
kind of like
comeback
the
here.
same guy, you know what I mean? They like fell off for a while, then they might come back. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know, but I'd like to see him do well.
Yeah, I think currently the Saints are in a better position, even though if you compare the two teams, as of late, the Saints have been on a downwards trend, and then the Tennessee Titans have been on an upwards trend, but kind of had hit a plateau after they reached the AFC Championship, and kind of just stayed there and have had dilemmas, especially with the wide receiving core. But they added D-Hop in the offseason, which I think is a huge deal for this Tennessee Titans
I love
team.
D-Hop.
D-Hop too.
There's been a lot of scrutiny from Titan fans because they're like, D-Hop doesn't practice. Like, wait, this guy isn't practicing. And he's like,
I think he'll be all right.
D-Hop clapped back at someone who was acting out of pocket on Twitter, which is pretty funny. I'm going to go with the Saints for right now. This Titans team can be very interesting. I think they have a pretty good defense that could help them win a lot of games. I've never hated Ryan Tannehill. Being a Dolphins fan, I've seen a lot of his games, so trust me, I've been through it, Titan fans. I think with D-Hop, if D-Hop can be a major difference, they're going to have a solid running game regardless of who's in the backfield. Obviously, it's Derrick Henry. I think the offensive line is pretty solid, but if Tannehill can perform, this Titans team will be a force to be reckoned with in the AFC South division, which is pretty much up for grabs between them and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone else, I wouldn't say so much in between the Colts and the Houston Texans. But it's probably your guys' favorite time of the year. Huh? Woo! How about we get into this game?
Week 1.
Who do we have? We have the
Green Bay Packers
versus
Chicago Bears.
Week 1, one of the greatest rivalries in all of football. And these two guys are pitted against each other twice a year. And it's typically week 1 and later on in the season when it matters the most. So who wants to go first?
Take it away, Joe.
Oh,
really? I'm the home team. You go first.
I'm going to channel this guy right here. Gentlemen, if you get that inch... No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go with the whole mega speech or whatever, but Jordan Love needs to perform well. This is a playoff game, whether anybody likes it or not. I know it's week 1, but this is a playoff game. I mean, we're talking about Bears-Packers here with a new face at quarterback for one of the most historical franchises in all of sports.
What, 15 years?
Let's give a shout-out to, it's the first black quarterback to start for the Packers in franchise history.
There we go.
Week 1, so that's a very big deal. I'm very happy for Jordan Love to get that opportunity to make history. Hopefully he performs well. Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, maybe they don't play.
Doobs.
We came out today with a hamstring injury from Watson. We knew Dobbs had a little bit of a hammy injury. He kind of got held out of their last preseason game because of that. I would kind of say that I would hope that they would both play, or at least one of them. Probably Watson, I would lean towards probably playing. Or maybe it's Dobbs because he's gotten more rest. I don't know what they're going to do because this is really fresh news. Not really sure what's going to go on there, but if they're both healthy, I'm going with Green Bay either way. It's a must-win game for both teams, and I'm going with my team.
Before we get to Chris, very pivotal game. This is the first game in the 4 o'clock window. Everything else was 1 o'clock except for the season opener.
You know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm riding with my boys. This is Justin Fields' year, man. If he doesn't, I'm just so high on Justin Fields. I'm not even going to start with that negative. He's going to have a great year. He's going to outperform Jordan Love by far, in my opinion. Yeah, I like all the videos they post on social media of Jordan Love doing this, doing that. But guess what? They're not going to post videos of him being bad, are they? So I'm riding with my boys. This is the year. We're back to a new logo. So
yeah, I haven't updated it on the picks. My bad.
this is the year. We need to win a division this year. We got this.
The NFC North is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, wide open. You do have the favorite, which would be the Minnesota Vikings. But aside from that, I think everyone has a chance here. And it really depends on how Minnesota comes out in terms of the division play. But aside from that, I think the Bears take this one. Sorry, Joey. But this is all riding on Justin Fields, kind of like Chris alluded to. Justin Fields went on a massive tear towards the end of the season. Given not winning a lot of games, they ended up with the number 1 overall pick. But aside from that, all of them close games. And the development was there. Just need to see more passing from Fields. Love the running. It's electric. And probably why he's one of the top drafted fantasy quarterbacks this season, which a lot of people wouldn't. He was on waivers last year. This year he's getting picked within the first 4 rounds, which is insane to me. But they added DJ Moore. I think there's a solid chance here. There's a lot of questions surrounding Jordan Love. I think the Packers have a good chance this season, but it's all about Jordan Love there as well. So 2 teams surrounded by quarterback conversations, and I think unfortunately, in this one, I'll give it to the home team, but I think I might flip on the Green Bay Packers one later down on the season, and we'll see. All right, let's keep it moving. Unless you have another point. No, you're good?
I mean, Jair Alexander, 2 games against Justin Fields, 2 interceptions. Let's make it 3 for 3. Come on.
All right.
Strap City.
Let's move it.
Cap City, bro.
Yeah.
Cap City. Oh, gosh.
So they call Chicago.
We have the Los Angeles Rams versus Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith versus Matthew Stafford. I don't think we ever got the chance to get this matchup last year. If I'm not mistaken, I think Stafford was injured for a majority of the season. We never got to see him play against the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks. With that being said, I'm not really sure who I'm going with here. I'm thinking I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks just because I'm a little bit more familiar with their team and what they can bring to the table. On top of that, Cooper Kupp was ruled out for the game on Sunday with the hamstring injury that he's been dealing with a lot of training camp. So there's some uncertainty there, and I wouldn't be too crazy going with this Los Angeles Rams team. I think they've lost a lot, and you'd lose your wide receiver 1. The defense isn't looking great. I think things are trending downwards for this Los Angeles Rams team. It hasn't been great since they've won the Super Bowl. So those are things to consider for the Los Angeles Rams. Seattle Seahawks, I think they're on the upward trend, and things can only go great for them from here on out. Chris, what about yourself?
Yeah, you're right. The Rams sold out for a Super Bowl, and now they're reaping.
They're paying for it.
Yeah, they're paying for it. I mean, no Cooper Kupp. That kind of hurts. I feel like you got to go with Seattle at home. It's a very hard place to win, just in general. Mm-hmm. Plus, I like what they're doing. I feel like they got like a tight-knit group up there, and they got a bunch of monsters at wide receiver. I don't love the pick, but I'm gonna ride with Seattle. And you never know, like maybe Geno is actually that guy.
I hope so. I drafted him in our league, so I better hope so.
It's a weird game. Weird. Both teams could win. I don't know how to feel about either one. I'm going with Seattle because Cooper Kupp and his injury. Seattle kind of had more momentum last year. This is a weird game. It can go either way, and I hate to say that because it's such a, weird. It's such a terrible thing to say because you're not even giving your opinion at all, but it's true. Literally, both these teams can come out and win. I mean, Van Jefferson is a stud. We saw what he could do with Baker Mayfield last year. Matthew Stafford is going to be throwing the ball. They're going to have a healthy offense outside of Cooper Kupp. Could he get it done without him? Maybe, probably. But like Seattle has DK Metcalf, JSN, Tyler Lockett, and Geno has a lot of momentum.
Kenneth Walker too.
Exactly.
I think the supporting cast for the Seahawks
that's what makes me pick Seattle.
is way better as it stands. But you throw in Cooper Kupp into the mix, and maybe things can tilt a little bit towards LA's side. But even then, I think they just all around defense, offense, Seattle wins this game. But it is a touchy situation because if LA does get Cooper Kupp back, not for this game in specific, but for the season, I think they'll be in contention for a lot more games. But otherwise, they would be another team that we will more than likely be talking about. Not as for a number one pick, but they'll probably be in the top 10. I think Stafford will them to a lot of wins, but the supporting cast there is just not great, especially following this Super Bowl run recently that they had. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus Denver Broncos, AFC West matchup. And Las Vegas got Jimmy Garoppolo, and Denver got Sean Payton, who kept on talking smack about Nathaniel Hackett, which was pretty funny. And Aaron Rodgers clapped back, said, "Keep my coach's name out of your mouth," which I do agree with him. I think Sean Payton was still in the mentality like, "Oh, I'm on TV. No, you're back to being a coach of an NFL team, so start acting like it a little bit." Yeah, Jimmy G on the Raiders. I think that's going to be an interesting situation. They went from Derek Carr to Jimmy G, which I wouldn't say it's an upgrade. I wouldn't say it's a downgrade. I think it's kind of putting you back in the same spot as you were before. An uncertain QB, but has potential to win you games, and it's all about whether or not they can perform. And he understands McDaniel's system, so I think that's a beneficial plus, like going into the season. But it could be very shaky just because if he doesn't perform well, I think the writing's on the wall on Jimmy G and his NFL career, unfortunately.
He might be done. He might be done.
He might be done. He might be done.
He might be done. Yeah, this is another weird one for me. I've been kind of going back and forth, making cases for both teams. Chandler Jones is away from Vegas right now, not with the team. That might factor into my decision.
Mess.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird situation. Denver picked up Frank Clark, who I think is so undervalued, in my opinion, and the Chiefs miss him so much. But I'm going to go with the home team again. I'm not super thrilled about it. It's probably one of those condom picks where it doesn't feel good, but it's safe. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm taking the home team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so listen to me. The Denver Broncos had a weird year last year. I mean, they even got roasted by Patrick Starr on the Nickelodeon telecast, for God's sakes. Don't know what to think of them there, but then now they have a new coach. It's a whole different process. I'm going with the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. I love the fact that Sean Payton told Russell Wilson that he's not kissing babies, or to stop kissing babies. You're not running for office. What the hell are you doing? Act like a damn football player. Love it. Let's go.
Yeah, if you didn't bring it up, I was about to mention it. With that being said, though, I do think this Denver Broncos team is a little bit further ahead than this Las Vegas Raiders team. I think there's still a lot of turmoil and not really getting along with the head coach there, which is a repeating factor from their previous coach. So that's something that's a little bit interesting. Aside from that, Vegas has gotten rid of a lot of their younger stars, have had mishaps with them. We're not going to dive into those details, but just the fact of, I think the Raiders are in a failure process that they're trying to get out of. And I think the Broncos are in a lot further place than they are. So let's keep it moving to my favorite time of the week, Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This is one of the first times we've really going to get a chance to see like 100% Tua, 100% Herbert. these two teams, since both players have been drafted, have played each other twice. Tua had recently just came back from his concussion the most recent time, and Herbert was just starting. I think Tua wasn't starting yet for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not 100% sure. I think he was, but I think this is the best time. Week 1, both of these guys have pretty much fully healthy offenses, and I think this is just a lights out game to have week 1. So you already know who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with the Miami Dolphins. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think both teams are going to be scoring fast and often, and it's really going to come down to whichever team's defense steps up, which I'm hoping will be the Dolphins, but there's some questions surrounding their defense. But aside from the cornerback and / safety room, I would say the defense is going to be just fine. Linebacker might have a slight question mark, but I wouldn't be so worried about it. I think they'll just do just fine with their new addition of David Long and Jerome Baker coming back. That'll be great. Defensive line is going to be solid. And we don't even really need to talk about the offense. You know what the offense is going to do with Tyreek, Waddle, and Braxton Berrios, new addition, going to be solid too. Running back room, little running back by committee. Jeff Wilson's on IR, so Raheem Mostert is going to get the lead call, and on top of that, we have Ajane, Savon Ahmed, so undrafted guy Brooks. I mean, the offense is going to be fun. I'm happy with the offense.
The only part about the offense I'm worried about is Teron Armstead, as I'm sure you know.
Yep.
He's always questionable.
That's why I didn't talk
about it for every game, and I don't know if you saw Mike McDaniels had a pretty kind of funny quote today talking about Armstead, where he was like, I can't really tell you, like, I've never seen a guy like this who doesn't practice all week, comes into a game and just dominates. And he's like, normally, if I see a guy not in practice, I'm going to say he's not going to play. But he said, if I said that last year, I would have been wrong more times than I was right. So maybe it's not as big of an issue as I think it is. I feel like this is a hard one for me. I'm going to take the Bolts at home against the Dolphins. I got to start winning some games against you guys and make up some ground. And Steve took the Chargers, and he did pretty well last year. So, I'm leaning on him. Big Justin Herbert fan. Still not 100% sold on Tua. So we'll see how this year goes. Hopefully he can stay healthy.
That's an excellent point, Chris.
What's that?
And just because of that, I'm switching my pick from the Dolphins to the Chargers because subconsciously I'm like, you know what? The Dolphins, right? But I'm like, no, because I forgot I got Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, I got Mike Williams, I got everybody on all these leagues. I need the Chargers to win. Let's go. Let's go, Chargers. Come on, hook me up.
And
I'm gonna get Joey some Cuban food before the week comes, so that he can switch his pick.
Oh yeah, come on.
I was just gonna say,
Cuban Sammy.
One player the Chargers drafted, Quentin Johnson. Like Johnston. Like him out of TCU. He's listed as wide receiver 4 right now, but I think he'll end up being maybe 2.
Who's listed as 3rd?
3rd is Joshua Palmer.
I was about to say, because it will be 1 Keenan Allen, 2 Mike Williams, then 3 Joshua Palmer, 4 Quentin Johnson. But depending on injuries, he could be wide receiver number 1 for his team by the end of the year. I think that he has that type of potential, and
usually the case with the Chargers a lot too.
Yeah. Both Big Mike and Keenan Allen tend to go down throughout the year, so it's unfortunate to knock on them. Hope nothing bad happens to them, but if they do, I think they have some confidence in Quentin Johnson being there to be reliable. I wouldn't say he's going to be lights out and stuff like that, but he will be one of those type of guys that really packs a punch for them. And Chris, why don't you take us to
next game? Another 425, the last 425 game of the week, and we got them Birds in Philadelphia going to Foxborough to take on Bill Belichick and the Pats. What are you gonna talk about, lobster rolls or Philly cheesesteaks here, Joe? Which one?
June 2023, Chris Wright. I'm in Boston. Very first time in Boston. I go there. I have the lobster roll. I have everything Loved the city. Loved the food. Hated the freaking fan bases because I can't stand all those people. I'm going with the birds. Go birds. We're going to the food store for the birds game, and we're picking up the Philly cheesesteaks at the food store. Okay? Go birds. Got that?
I'm going to join Joey on that, and I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. They just came off a Super Bowl loss, unfortunately, but they're facing a New England Patriots team that I have, and this is not me being biased, I have zero faith in them. I have absolutely zero faith in them. The key addition for this offseason for them was Zeke Elliott. I think that's going to be a huge factor for them. Fantasy owners, you guys are going to have Ramondre Stevenson going between the 20s. And then once they get into the goal line type of stuff, Zeke is going to be pretty much getting paid dirt all the time for anyone concerned about fantasy purposes. But aside from that, not a big fan of this Patriots team. And this Philadelphia Eagles team, for this game, I love them, but they're a team that is going to be hunted down for the rest of the season. They're one of the top teams in the entire NFL last year. And with that comes having a target on your back the following year, especially having a high caliber type of quarterback in Jalen Hurts, which if he can follow up last year's performance to this year, I think it's going to be huge for this Philadelphia Eagles team. Aside from that, a lot of questions surrounding them, but young defense, not a lot of guys returning there, but pretty much the entire Georgia Bulldogs
They're
college
fantastic,
team.
bro. The Eagles are insane.
Yeah, they're going to be
them.
good, but let's see how they are when everyone's looking at them now compared to last year where that how it was towards the end of the year. Yeah, it's how it was towards the end of the year, but aside from that, it's definitely something that we're going to see, and it's going to be tough for them to go throughout the season with.
Yeah, I'm going to take the birds, too. The
Birds.
Eagles.
Yeah, birds.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much
I love that
everything you
video.
guys said. Pretty much everything you guys said is true. Eagles are good. Patriots are bad.
Yeah.
They might struggle a little bit with that. They won the division, so they're going to have a tougher schedule than, the rest of the people in their division. But I'm a rock with them. Hopefully Jalen Hurts wrote Justin Fields the script, and I was a doubter of just Hurts last year, and he proved me wrong. He seems like a workhorse. He is always in the gym from what it looks like, trying to get better. So you got to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, one last thing. This is such a typical athlete thing to do, but he has a picture of him walking off the field in the Super Bowl as his lock screen. So just any and extra motivation he can get, he's getting. And I think he's going to be very determined to, put the Philadelphia Eagles back in a position like that. Does it happen? We don't have the script, so we don't know. But aside from that,
I got that.
you got the
Got
script.
that thing on me, bro.
What does the script?
Got it in the backpack.
What does the script tell us for the Dallas Cowboys versus New York Giants?
Listen, that's the next game. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Football Giants.
for Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, indeed. Listen, man, the Giants are a weird team. They didn't really want to pay Saquon Barkley, but they
Ended up doing so.
did.
They didn't open their wallets. They just like, here, have some money.
Anyway, that scenario has a Band-Aid on it. Really non-waterproof Band-Aid, really bad. Not even like a actual like Band-Aid brand. It's probably like a Publix brand or like maybe even a Walmart brand. You don't even know. It's not a good Band-Aid. It's coming right off. Anyway, aside from the Band-Aids, Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game. They got a great team on the defensive side of the football. Dak Prescott is a lot of unknowns. All we've seen out of camp is a bunch of interceptions. Interception after interception. I mean, I don't know. It's camp. I mean, are we really going to be coming back to training camp here in December talking about, we threw all those picks in camp?
Yeah.
I mean, if his season sucks, we might. But maybe hopefully they get off to a good start here for my sake because I'm picking them. But I would like to see the Giants win, but I do think that the Cowboys are going to win. And Deuce Vaughn is a little bit fun to watch.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to you, Chris, real quick, but I just want to point out, I literally saw a video today of Dak throwing to a 5'5" receiver that was double covered, and it was an easy interception.
Yeah,
like
man.
the receiver got boxed out, and it's just like, I understand. It's camp, it's practice, blah, blah, blah. If you're making those type of decisions, you need to just kind of reevaluate. Put yourself in the game scenario in terms of those practices. I understand it's practice. This is where you can iron out all your mistakes, but also try to execute in practice and try to be great there. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning. But Chris, what do you got here?
I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I'm not a fan of Jerry Jones. Not a fan of the coach. Not a huge Prescott guy, but I'm also not super high on the Giants. I liked what Daniel Jones did last year. He seemed pretty good. He was trending upward. It looked like he was getting better at throwing and running the ball, game management, all that stuff. But they still can't figure out the wide receiver position for the Giants. And he's got nobody to throw the ball to. Sure, they got Darren Waller, but
Wandale Robinson, whoa.
yeah, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton. Do you guys know who these guys
their
are?
rookie is going to be great, which is Jalen Hyatt. He's going to be great. That's the one receiver I think that's going to be worth a damn on that team. Aside from him and Darren Waller and Barkley, that offense is a bit shaky, and that's why it's a little bit questionable for like someone like me wanting to go with them. We'll go with a little bit more of the sure thing, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. But another fact is Dak has never lost to the New York Football Giants.
Really?
Yes. He's 9-0, 10-0 against them. Yeah.
Wow.
That is something to know.
Yeah. So
No, Justin Fields has never beat the Packers either. Oh,
Has Jordan Love ever beat the Bears? Ooh.
never had the chance to.
Has he beat anybody? Ooh.
Never had the chance
oh
to.
gosh. Anyways, yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys here. I think it's a clean sweep across the board. Yeah, the Giants situation on offense is a little bit shaky for my liking. But what they did last year was nothing short of amazing. I think they had a great run, and I think they compete again for not only the NFC East, but possibly make a better playoff run this year. But we'll just see. They had a good win against the Minnesota Vikings, and then fell on their face against the Philadelphia Eagles. But I mean, ran into the best team in the NFL, the team that ended up going to the Super Bowl. So you can't be too harsh on yourself there. But still, I think a lot of things to work on there, and the receiving core is like the biggest question. And then we have, last but not least, Monday Night Football. We have the Buffalo Bills going to the New York Jets and to face the newly knighted king of New York, which is Aaron Rodgers. Joey.
I don't like it.
Joey.
Let me talk to you. All right, here we go. So the Jets are totally Green Bay East. They have not only Aaron Rodgers, they have Alan Lazard, Adrian Amos, off the top of my head, Billy Turner, Randall Cobb,
Dalvin Cook.
Well,
Same division, but
Yeah.
another
I guess
guy.
you say.
I saw a stat that said that 70% of the free agents of the Packers either went to the Jets or an NFC North rival.
Yeah, we
So
got
that's
two of your
something to
tight
think
ends.
about. Yep. And Robert Tonyan went to the Bears. A lot of changes.
That's crazy.
And a lot of them went to this team. So I kind of know a little bit about how I would think that their offense is going to work.
Nathaniel Hackett is the OC.
Yeah, it's a little deep over there. But I'm not a fan at all. And I'm going to make that perfectly clear. And I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. I'm actually changing my pick from the Jets to the Bills. I was like, I got to ride with the Jets. Screw that. We're going with the Buffalo Bills. I hated on Josh Allen all of last year because he's not a playoff quarterback. But this is week 1. This is your bread and butter, Josh Allen. Get the win. Let's go. Need it. Steal it.
Yeah, as much as I would love to see this game end in a draw, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's a lot of hype surrounding this New York Jets team, given really good defense, like really solid defense. And they had a decent, semi-decent offense last year, and they're like, oh, we're a quarterback away. Let's add Aaron Rodgers. They did so. He's looked pretty good throughout camp. He's only played a 1 preseason game, given he wasn't playing against the starters of the New York Giants when he did so. Leaves some doubt there, but it's still, they have a great surrounding team on offense that I think they could do stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the top contending teams in the AFC. But the Bills still reign supreme, unfortunately, in this division, so I will have to rock with them. That Hard Knocks episode?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was hearing UFOs, man. Too much ayahuasca before this podcast, dude. Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers, my least favorite player in the NFL. The Jets, my second least NFL team. I hope they lose by 40.
That's true.
Hell yeah.
I don't like. I'm sorry, Troy. Troy's our boy at work. I hope the Jets stink this year.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know what to even say. I mean, it didn't work out when Favre did it. I hope it doesn't work out when Rodgers does it. Give me the Bills and Josh Allen.
Say that.
Please ball out on Aaron Rodgers.
Let's do it.
Please.
Let me talk to you real quick, buddy. Aaron Rodgers, one of my favorite probably the best quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. Childhood hero. You know what they say about your heroes? They live long enough to become your villains. And all I need from Aaron Rodgers is to play 65% of the snaps. That's it. And if you're a Jets fan, you might as well not watch this stuff anymore because we're going to be going in and out on the Jets all year. Or if you like to see the haters be wrong, tune back in. Because the hate is real on this end.
I'm not a fan of like newly formed teams. You know what I mean? Like, sure they could be good. Like, what's the ceiling for them though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't picture Super Bowl or bust like everybody's making it seem. What kind of teams do they usually put on Hard Knocks? Bad teams.
The Hard Knocks situation, I wouldn't put it like
it's
that.
It's probably already scheduled before they ever even had them.
No,
No?
They were like figuring out which team to do, and they're like, what is the most interesting team?
There's like a list of teams that can qualify that are like, they have to be bottom 5 of the NFL or something, right?
Well, yeah, they were one of the bottom teams.
Well, hell yeah, because they sucked.
But aside from that, like, it was one of the more interesting teams to follow in the offseason, especially because of the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. But given said, Hard Knocks was a very letdown of a showcase of the New York Jets. I wasn't really I wasn't very enthused with what they were able to show, but at first they fought against it, then they embraced it, and then you can tell that they didn't want the Hard Knocks people there.
Let me talk about buffalo chips for a second.
Oh, buffalo chips. All right. Now that you mention it, let me talk to you. Buffalo chips, Monday Night Football, baby. Like, let's just think about this for a second.
You could probably go.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're talking Bills, Jets. I mean, 9-11, both New York teams. They're both going to ball out.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Dude, this is in Memorial. And shout out to the boy Troy. He actually told me today that Robert Saleh, one of the reasons why he became a coach is because of 9/11. Serious.
Got to explain. Go ahead.
Well, because he was like a bank teller at the time, and then like when it happened, it affected him so much. He's like, dude, I need to go do what I love. So then he became a coach, which is pretty cool. So I think that the Jets are going to ball out, and I mean, Buffalo's obviously a great team, and they're from New York as well. They're both going to ball out in Memorial for this, 9/11.
I hate to say it. Switch my pick. Going to the New York Jets, baby.
See, the boy Troy got in your head. I mean, he almost got in my head for a second there, but I had to phase it out because I hate the Jets so damn much. I can't even think about it because it's such a lovable pick. The whole Saleh story. I mean, the Jets are going to win, right? And then Aaron Rodgers is going to give a great speech after. And I'm just going to be like, God dang it, I love this son of a gun. But I hate him. It's just so sad, man. But it is what it is. I'm going with the Bills still.
All right.
Can't stand the Jets.
So that, in terms, wraps up the game picks. But really quick, I want to figure out who you guys have winning each division.
Ooh, all right.
We could go division by division, or you guys can just run through your things, whichever suits you guys the best.
Let's just go division by division.
Okay. All right.
Want to start with yours?
Yeah, sure. Why not? You already know my answer. For the AFC East, I have the Miami Dolphins winning it.
If I was a betting man, probably would have to bet the Bills. I would like to see the Dolphins win for you. It's been a long time.
Thanks, dude.
It's been since 2008, I think. Is that right? So it's been a long time. It'd be nice to see the Fins up for a little bit here. And but if I was a betting man, I think you'd have to go with the Bills, who have won it, I think, 3 times in a row now.
Yep. Don't blame me.
I don't know, man. I think I'd have to go with the Jets. It sucks, man, but I think I'd have to go with No, we hate them, but they're good.
After starting off 0-1, according to Joey,
listen,
win the division.
You never know, man. I mean, I got the Dolphins starting 0-1 and the Patriots. So the Bills, I mean, you never know what
the Bills and
I
Jets
feel about
someone has
Josh
to be
Allen
0-1.
late in the season. Anyway, right? That's like the favorite, you
Yeah.
know. I mean,
No,
I
for sure.
mean, just because of Rodgers, but like, yeah, Buffalo. I mean, I'm not really thinking about the Dolphins in terms of division winning, but I think that they can go far in the playoffs, and that's
Yeah.
what really matters.
Yeah. Yeah, like I would love to see the Dolphins win the division. If they don't, but make the playoffs, I'll still be happy. Like this is a team that's geared towards playing in the playoffs, so let's get there and perform well. But aside from that, if it's not the Dolphins for me, it would be the Buffalo Bills. But that's fandom aside, possibly more than likely it would be the Bills. But I mean, the top three teams are obvious. I think the Patriots are going to be the worst team in the division. But I don't think they're going to be far off in terms of being the worst team. I think they're going to be like 9-8 and like fighting for a playoff spot at some point this season. Like I hate to admit it, but it's probably how they're going to be. But we can move on to the AFC North. We'll just run through the AFC and then go to the NFC. All right, AFC North between the Bengals, Browns, Steelers, and Ravens. This is one of the more tougher ones for me. Depends on Joe Burrow's timeout, like whether or not he can start from week 1 or not. But for now, I'll just go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think with the supporting cast that they put around them, I think they have a great odds of winning this division.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals to three-peat. I think you have to. I mean, there's a lot of question marks for the other three teams. I think the Steelers are out of it. Cleveland could potentially be in the mix if Deshaun is like Deshaun of the past, which I don't really think he will be. There's not many masseuses up there. Yeah, give me Cincy. I think you got to go with it. Even if Joe Burrow's out for a little bit, I think you still got to go with Cincy.
Skyline chili.
Yeah.
Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Win the division.
Side note for myself, I think this is another division that could possibly have 3 playoff teams, possibly. I think the top 2 obviously will be Cincinnati and Baltimore, and I think the Browns and Steelers are just gonna have to figure it out once another who's gonna take a step down and who's gonna take a step up. But aside from that, let's go to AFC South. I think this one's gonna be a lot easier for all of us to be in unison on. I'll just put it out there: Jacksonville Jaguars. A close second to me will be the Tennessee Titans. Third, obviously, Indianapolis Colts. Fourth, Houston Texans.
Yep.
I agree. I think the Jags run away with it. And I don't know if you guys remember, but they won it last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't very flashy or they didn't. It wasn't talked about a lot, but they won. So they're going to go back to back.
And then they went to Waffle House. And in the morning, I'm getting waffles. If the Jacksonville Jaguars win on like a primetime game, I'll come on the show wearing a shirt that says, "In the morning, I'm getting waffles." Trevor. The man right there.
Oh, man. All right. And I don't think we're going to argue too much about the winner here, but I want you guys to rank this division. So obviously, I think we're all going to go with KC as a winner, but I'll let you guys confirm that for yourselves. I would put second, Denver Broncos. Third, Los Angeles Chargers. Fourth, Las Vegas Raiders.
I agree. I think you got to go with the Chiefs. They've won it 7 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Chargers. A lot of people think this might be the downfall year for the Chiefs. I don't necessarily see that, honestly. I think Pat Mahomes is that guy. Like, I think at the end of the day, he's going to be probably the best quarterback of all time.
$500 million man.
That's a tough fucking...
At the end of the day. I mean, it's big shoes to fill. It's hard to live up to that hype, but I think the Chiefs do win this division, though. Quick question for you guys. Who's the last team not named the Chiefs to win?
Was it the Broncos?
Yes.
Peyton Manning.
It's been a while. But since Patrick Mahomes has started...
Crap, really?
Yeah.
I don't think he's lost that division since he's been a starter.
Yeah, since
That's
Alex Smith
wild,
got to...
bro.
Since he got to Kansas City, they pretty much won the division every time.
Every year.
But did you have it similar to mine, the rankings? I had
I had
KC,
Chargers
Denver.
ahead
Okay.
of Denver.
So, yeah. What about you, Joy?
Oh, man. It's got to be Kansas City, right? I mean, but Chargers are such a good pick because it's just like they have so much potential, but Kansas City has so much firepower. It's Kansas City all the way, man.
And how would you rank them? 1, 2, 4?
I mean, Kansas City, LA, Raiders, and then Broncos.
Okay.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why, man. You know what? Maybe I scratched that because the Raiders are having problems already before even week 1. Just no.
Yeah,
I'm going with Broncos.
not the best spot for
I would have
the
scratched it.
Raiders. Yeah, that division is going to be, in terms of like the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting. I think at least 2 teams make it to the playoffs here. Very well. This was touted to be one of the best divisions last year, and no one's talking about it like that this year, which is a little bit unfortunate for them because they had a lot of hype surrounding them. They had the Raiders who went to the playoffs the year before. Broncos had just got in Russell Wilson, up and coming stud in Justin Herbert in Los Angeles, and then obviously Patrick Mahomes. So everyone was like primetime games for this division, blah blah blah, and never really thought it out to be like that. The games were interesting. I won't deny it, but yeah, it wasn't that great. All right.
I mean, all I gotta say is that the Chiefs are probably gonna run away with this division.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%. Everyone else is just like, you have to win pretty much every other game aside from the games that you possibly lose to the Chiefs.
I think that the Chiefs win every single divisional game that they play this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's go to the NFC side. We'll start with the East. This one's tough. I want to say Philadelphia Eagles win it. I think Cowboys come second, Washington third, New York Giants fourth. But like everyone except for the Eagles can pretty much be within a game of each other, in my opinion.
I like the Eagles. I think it's the easy pick, honestly. I mean, Dallas could give them a run for the money, but
I don't think they've had a consecutive winner in like ages.
For this division,
Yeah.
I'd have to look, honestly, but it's just like the NFC North, where it's a good mix of every team winning and being competitive. But I like the Eagles to go back to back in this one. What do you think?
I think the Eagles easily win this division. Second place would probably be Cowboys to maybe get a sneaky wild card spot, and then the Giants and Commanders. I think that second place spot might be fought between all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like only one person can kind of get that thing.
It's going to be super close.
We'll see what happens.
So there hasn't been a back-to-back winner of the division since the Eagles did it in 03-04.
That's crazy. Yeah, they're always flip-flopping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Eagles have the hot hand, so I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you guys for going with the Eagles. I did it too. But the rest of that division is literally going to be tearing at each other. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all within a game of each other for the division. I put Washington possibly last just because there's uncertainty there. Just because both all the Giants and the Cowboys have a little bit more certainty with their quarterback situation. But should the Cowboys end last in the division, I think Dak's time is there. It's done, which is unfortunate because I think he's decent, but it is what it is. I'll let you guys hash out for who wants to say the NFC North one first.
Well, the Bears are going to win the division, so we already know that. It's been a while since we've won. I think 2018 was the last time we won, if I'm not mistaken.
The double doink.
Yeah, don't remind me. we were so good that year. Anyways,
trust me, I was pissed when you guys missed.
It was heartbreaking, which a lot of Chicago sports teams are heartbreaking. But I'm gonna pick my Bears. It's their year to win, I think, and it's their division to own for the next couple of years, in my opinion. I've always said, Kirk Cousins is only gonna get you so far, and question marks in Detroit, question marks in Green Bay. I like our chances.
I don't know who the hell Jaquan Brisker is, but I've just seen videos of him getting his ankles broken all week because he says he hates Green Bay. I'm going with the Packers. Bears defense still sucks.
Have you watched Jaquan Brisker?
I totally have.
He's a monster, dude.
Yeah,
he lays people out. Keep talking that trash.
It's fine.
I hope you talk that trash, bro.
It's fine. It's
Keep
fine.
talking,
It's
bro.
fine, bro.
We'll wait.
It's fine. You've been waiting your whole life to try to get on top, and it's okay. And then, you know what, bro?
My whole life.
We don't have a lot. I mean,
It's been 4 years.
It's been 25 years.
Since a Super Bowl, yeah.
I mean,
lots of teams go a long time
since you
without
guys
winning,
were.
bro.
I mean, anyway, let's not get into that. All I gotta say is I don't think the Packers are gonna win the division by any means, but I think they can be a sneaky wild card team. It's Minnesota or Detroit, and then like it's probably the Bears or Packers fighting for third, and then either or. Let's be realistic here. We really don't know what's gonna happen. You can't just go from the worst team in the NFL to being this Super Bowl champion. Maybe you can. I mean, I don't know. But I'm just going to say it that I don't think that it's going to happen for the Bears. And I think that the Vikings will probably stand pat and win the division.
Dude, that would be a crazy situation. Worst to first, like literally worst to first, like literally number one pick to, having obviously the last pick by winning the Super Bowl. That would be honestly insane. I don't think they have the potential to do that, but this division is literally up for grabs. Like this is probably the hardest one for me to pick. I think everyone is in contention, but I kind of agree with Joey. I would put Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions kind of tied at 1, and then you guys tied at 2, like both teams tied at 2. If I had to give a nod, I would probably want to give it to Detroit just to see them win.
Yeah, man.
Because like they've been in the perils of like being a horrible team forever. Like the Bears, you guys won it recently. You guys have obviously run it recently. Vikings running recently as well. Detroit Lions just haven't done really much since the mid times of Matthew Stafford being there. So let's see them do something. That'll be interesting. NFC South, I got to give it to the Saints. I think they're the more experienced team. Second team would be Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think you got to go to the Saints. I mean, these are some trash teams in this division, man. Yeah, you got to go with the Saints, and all I can hope for is the Panthers finish last because we have their draft pick again this year, and I believe we have their second round the following year. So hopefully they stink.
This division sucks. I'm going with Saints. I think that Derek Carr can do it. Yeah, win the division. You got this.
Oh, gosh. All right, and then last but not least, the NFC West. I would put San Fran, Seattle, LA, Arizona. That's the final standings here.
It's pretty much what I have too. I don't think you can really argue that the Rams are going to be that competitive against the 49ers anymore. And man, we're a few years removed from this being the best division in football, and now we're kind of like, there might be one good team, one okay team, and 2 pretty bad teams. We'll see.
It's a weird division because, like, I don't know. San Francisco, Seattle, and LA all have, I mean, I really shouldn't put LA in there, but they kind of have quarterbacks I don't, like, have full confidence in to, I don't know, win the division with what they have. I mean, Brock Purdy is kind of, Geno Smith had a good year last year. I'm not going to discredit him, but I don't feel like it's going to replicate. It usually doesn't really happen that often. He'll have a decent year, but I don't think he's going to be fantastic. I think I'm going to go LA winning the division, and then I'm going to go 49ers, Seahawks, and then Cardinals.
Sick. All right, well, that wraps up week 1 of NFL Game Picks. We also included our division winners for the 2023 NFL season. So thank you for all of you guys who stuck around and listened and watched that. Let me know what you guys think of our picks. Also, don't forget to contact me if you want to join the Game Picks League so we can include your picks throughout the season.
Ringy dingy.
Aside from that, that wraps up week 1, and we'll see you guys next week for week 2.
Bear down.
Fins up, baby.
Go Pack, go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.